Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another word of the day. I am super excited to share with you guys what thus saith the Lord this morning. The topic of this word of the day today is I got your portion. God really wants to bless somebody today because I have a second word of the day for you guys this week. And this word was so heavy on my spirit last night that I literally couldn't wait until the morning to now release this very amazing, life-changing, thought-provoking word to you this morning, okay? My reading will be from the book of Genesis, chapter 42, verses 5 and 6. I'm going to give you guys a backdrop of the story as I always do, and I pray that the word blesses you as it has and will always bless me. Okay, so in the text, the Bible reads this. So Israel's sons joined everyone else that was going to Egypt to buy food, for Canaan too was hit hard by the famine. Joseph was running the country. He was the one who gave out rations to all the people. Okay, so before we get into this text, to give you guys a backdrop of the story, Joseph is a man, that God has favored. He's the man that, God has given dreams to. And he finds himself in a stiff when he, shares these revelations to his brothers. And the Bible says the brothers hated him and they were jealous of him, up until the point where they literally threw David into a cistern, threw him in a place that was dry, and they then sold him out to Egypt. They then sold him to Egypt. They were jealous of him. They attacked him. They wanted to get rid of him, and they got rid of him and they sold him out to Egypt. So in the text, the Bible had Joseph in this predicament in Egypt for quite some time. He even dealt with a lot of backlash when it came to God favoring him, even when he was in Egypt. He dealt with many attacks. He was even put in prison at one point for false accusations against him. He really found himself really struggling a lot and really going through a lot at the result or at the expense of him being betrayed by his brothers. And now the Bible picks up right here in this text where the Bible says, that there was a famine that broke out in the land to where all the people all over, including his brothers, were now at the point where they had to go to Egypt like everybody else and, get some resources that they were lacking as a result of a famine that hit them. And as this famine was happening, God has caused the brothers to struggle in the famine while Joseph was running the country, while Joseph was in a position of rulership. And so the Bible says that the famine hit hard for them, but Joseph was running the country. And not only was he ruling and running the country, but he was the one who was in charge for giving out rations to all the people. Now, I want to dive into the word rations. Rations means allowance. Amount given, allowed within purpose regulations. Allocation is another word for rations, which also means a portion, an amount signed to a recipient. Okay, so in this particular text, the very person that the brothers had betrayed, the very person that the brothers have sold out, is the very person that once a famine struck, this was the same brother that they had to go get their rations from. And so I want to park here and let somebody know today that God is going to position you for your betrayers in such a way to where your betrayers has to get their rations from you. And there's going to be a famine, and there is a famine. Even right now, there is a pandemic going on right now that God is going to cause you to rule in and going to cause your enemies to hit hard for them. This is the word of the Lord that he wants me to share to you today, right now, that this famine is going to be so detrimental to where it's going to hit hard to those who sold you out, to where they have to come to you. They're going to be forced by this famine to come to you so that you can divvy out their portions, so that you can divvy out their rations. Okay, they are at the point where they're trying to go about purpose, and you have the allowance that is necessary for their purpose regulations. God has positioned you, the very one they betrayed, the very one they sold out, the very one that they didn't care enough about to even check on, the very one they even covered up. Because even the Bible went on to say that once they got in arm's length, once they built relationship with Joseph, once they got into connection with Joseph, the Bible said they stripped him of his coat. They stripped him of the coat of many colors. But even though they stripped the coat off of him, they did not take off the favor that was on him. And so in this particular text, not only did they strip away something that was for him, not only did they try to strip away the thing that was on him, they also sold him out in such a way to where they literally used the very thing that they stripped on. Not only did they sell him out to Egypt, but sell him out, in other words, to a place of bondage, sell him out in a place of struggle, sell him out in a place where they was out for his demise. The Bible went on to say that they even tried to perform a cover-up with the thing that they had stripped from him, that they used the very coat and they used some form of truth from from Joseph, and then tried to take his very coat to his father and literally put and smear blood on it to try to make a story behind that which has happened to Joseph. They try to cover up something that they knew by off of using Joseph's truth and manipulate it to make a story out to other people. And they didn't even look back to see what happened to Joseph. They didn't even go searching for him. And just like your enemies, just like the people who betrayed you, who sold you out, not only did they position you to be in a place of destruction, not only did they sent you in a place of where you're downcast, but they also put you in a position to where they didn't even care about your whereabouts. They didn't even care about what happened to you. They didn't even care about whether you came or gone. But I want to let you know that the very people who plotted against you, the very people who betrayed you, the very people who sold you out, God has positioned you to where you now have their portion. And they're not going to be able to go about purpose without their portion. And God has positioned you. He's going to position you in this pandemic, in this famine that is hitting them hard and have you to rule in. God's going to cause those very people to come to you for their portion. I want to let you know today, I don't know who this is for, but I need you to know today that you need to be able to decree and declare to your enemies that I got your portion. Oh my God, if you could feel how powerful that is. I have the very things you need to allow your purpose to go to another level. I have the very things you need, the very amount assigned to you. God has assigned blessings to your betrayers. He has assigned blessings to the ones who sold you out. They are a recipient to the allowance that God has positioned you to have for them, but they could only get that once they come up and see about you. They can only get that once they make right with you. I want to encourage you today that you need to have a stature in knowing that you got the portion. You got the allowance. You got the allocation. You got the help. You got your enemy's lot. I need to encourage you today that those very people who betrayed you, who sold you out, who didn't care whether you were coming or going, who put you in a position to struggle and didn't care enough to even check on you, to even see about you or make right behind what they did. God is going to cause a famine so severe in their lives that they're going to have to come to you for their portion. So I pray this word really, 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 really blesses you. I need you to really see the magnitude of how God is going to operate in you. And you want to know what positions you in this season for where God can trust you with your enemy's portion? Because you'll be humble giving it to them. Once they make right, you'll be humble in giving it to them. When Joseph, he realized that the brothers came, the brothers was literally didn't even know. He was so fly. Joseph was so fly, the brothers didn't even notice it was him. Joseph's swag went up on 100 so much to where the brothers didn't even know it was him, to where they bowed at him and they honored him and reverenced him. But Joseph knew immediately who they were. And sometimes God will have someone to hurt you so bad, or have people to hurt you so bad to where immediately you know them right off the rip. They don't even recognize you. They don't even recognize what they've done to you. But you know, based off of you being the one that had the blow behind what they did, you noticed them immediately. But even after all of that, the Bible says that the brothers had finally taken the portion from Joseph, once they identified who Joseph was, once they made right who Joseph was, and Joseph went on to tell them, yo, come over here and you have all the best of Egypt is yours. All that I have is yours. Like, you have the best for you right here. You can leave whatever you need to leave behind. I have it for you right here. Not only did they get their portions, but they got beyond their portion. They got beyond their needs. They got beyond their desires. They got beyond their wants. But it was all at the expense of them making right with Joseph. And so God is positioning you. I don't know who you are, but God is positioning you to rule in this famine. And the same way they have sold you into this thing, God has caused you to rule in this thing. And so I really want to empower you to know that God has positioned you. Congratulations for your faithfulness. Congratulations for the fact that you literally was steadfast and unmovable. Congratulations that you did not take vengeance in your own hands. Congratulations that you still stayed humble in spite of what has been done to you. I want to encourage you and just let you know, congratulations. You got your enemy's portion. Take care and God bless you.